the battle over This Morning on ITV has heated up even more. The question is now not what Phillip Schofield did, with or without a younger team member of staff on ITV, but also what Holly Willoughby knew and what she did about it, what other senior staff did. The questions now are being asked of the executive producer of This Morning, Martin Frizzell, the director of television at ITV, Kevin Ligo, and the chief executive of the whole company, Carolyn McCall. Because they say, well, when rumours were abound that Phillip Schofield was having an affair with a junior member of staff, aged, we believe, just 18 at the time, that they did an investigation. Well, that investigation's not looking too pretty right now, as it's claimed that the young member of staff says that no one asked him and that everyone knew it was common knowledge. So what did they know? When did they know it? Those are the big questions. And did they allow a senior member of staff effectively to, well, some people are using the word groom, others are saying exploit, but certainly a position of power and control, coercion, some are saying. Lots of allegations flying around about what happened to whom and when. Well, let's talk about that right now with Ian Bloom. He's a media law consultant and joins us now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us. So lots of people all over social media saying, oh, everyone must have known, why didn't people speak out? What we've been learning this weekend is a lot of people did know about this relationship. This was at a time when Phillip Schofield was on screen, a happily married heterosexual man with 2 children. This was before he came out, all of this. A lot of people we understand on the show did know. When they left, they were asked to sign non-disclosure agreements. Anyone who spoke out, including some regular guests like Dr. Ranch and others, say that when they did speak to senior executives saying they were concerned about the power relationship involved in this affair, that they, and the toxic atmosphere, that they were then forced out of the show. There are lots of people who say, well, why didn't people speak out like Holly Willoughby? But of course, you're a media law consultant, you'll know as well as I do, we have libel laws in this country. And unless you got the proof, very difficult to go public. What do you think went on?
Well, can I say that my starting point would be this. In early 2020, Phillip Schofield, as you've said, was called to a meeting with his bosses at ITV. They were investigating the allegations about his behaviour in the This Morning offices. Now, I don't know specifically what they asked him or what he said in reply, but it now appears that when asked, he repeatedly denied that he was in a relationship with this much younger and junior member of staff, a male employee. ITV did not seem to have carried out a very effective investigation.
Yeah.
They just accepted what he told them, and it looks like he lied to them. But can I come to the consequences of that lie in a second? Because what I want to do briefly is speculate what would have happened if he'd said either, 1, my private life is none of your business, or 2, yes, I'm gay, and I have a consensual and perfectly legal relationship with a young adult man who happens to work here. Now, he wants his privacy respected, and I don't want to upset my wife and family by going public. Now, ITV could have said, that's all very well, Phillip, and it's not for us to out you. But living a lie breaches the trust that is an important bond between you and, by extension, everyone else in the This Morning family and the audience.
Yeah.
Because that's terribly important.
Yeah, the whole thing was it's the ITV family and, and Holly Willoughby and her family and Phillip Schofield and his family going on holiday together, all chums. That's part of the appeal, wasn't it?
It was, and they could have gone to say, you've got to be honest with the viewers, even if you're not being honest with your own family. Now, if I might say so, Julia, we don't know each other, but people, I think, know where they stand with you and with the other talk presenters.
I hope so, yeah.
Some may not like you. That's hard to believe, I know. Some may not even like Piers Morgan. Now, if you're called Meghan, that might be easier to understand. But the point is that you're authentic. People know what they're getting with you and the others. Now, had Phillip Schofield come out in 2020 and said on air what he said in February this year, I'm gay, I really doubt that we'd have had this backlash, this awful backlash that's consumed him and now ITV. After all, he wouldn't have been the first excellent gay presenter to come out. Look at Graham Norton. Look at Alan Carr.
Yeah.
And it's clear that his failure to be honest in 2020, which led to the denial, the deceit, the continued deception, and now his recent resignation and perhaps his humiliation, wasn't just a bad call. It was an error of judgment that is career ending, and it was unnecessary.
I think key difference between some of those very famous presenters who are openly gay, and I'm very glad that people can not have their careers harmed like that. You know, they were not married in heterosexual long-term marriages, living a lie in their private lives. They were openly and proudly, quite rightly, being their true selves and being honest with their audiences from word go. And that's the key thing, isn't it? That relationship. But this is the thing. I mean. You know, if you think back, I mean, Phillip Schofield actually came out on air as gay in February 2020. You know, it was over 3 years ago now, and it was getting and greeted very warmly. Lots of people were talking about it very warmly. But the key thing is that a lot of people now see that he used that as his basically the shield. But I'm gay and I'm coming out and being very brave, and that was the shield against these allegations. This stuff was already over social media that he was having an affair with this younger man. Does it matter? I mean, does it matter when his relationship with this younger man started? We know a lot of the allegations resurfaced again recently. We're going to have to be very careful legally here for obvious reasons. But his brother, Tim Schofield, he's recently been convicted, jailed for 12 years over a sexual abuse of a teenage boy. We're not talking about abuse. The allegation is that there wasn't abuse here. There's no allegation that it wasn't consensual, this relationship. The allegation is about it being a secret affair, but also about it being a position of him in a senior role, highly paid, big star, in a position of power, and this young man being very junior. Therefore, it's about you know, the conflict of power there, isn't it? We understand they did meet at the age of 15. When he was just 15 years old, but he didn't work on the show until 18. Phillip Schofield has said it was a legal, you know, consensual relationship on and off. We don't know whether it started earlier than that. If it was 16 onwards, it's completely legal. And that's therefore not a matter of the law. And that, I think, you know, we have to take that as read. But, of course, you know, many people will have issues over that big an age gap and that power relationship. Do you think that's where the ITV execs have to come in, which is that there were all these rumours, it was all being talked about. The revelations we've seen, we've got Eamon Holmes, who used to work there. He says there's been a massive cover-up and that everyone knew. He's using some very clear language about a total cover-up. We're told that ITV paid for cars for this young member of staff from Phillip Schofield's one of his homes, and the cars would travel in to the building for him from Phillip Schofield's one of his, not the home he shared with his wife, obviously. That they must have known when the affair ended. He's then moved on to another show. There's an awful lot of evidence that the TV execs paying those bills would have known what was going on and didn't do anything about it.
You're probably right, but what does it amount to? A relationship between an older man and a younger man. It's happening all the time. Because he's a famous television presenter, does that make a big difference? What exactly is the complaint of Eamon Holmes, that he was forced off the sofa? Bad luck. It happens. Yeah. I'm not sure that these allegations of toxic behaviour and all the rest of it amount to a hill of beans. The important thing, I suppose, is did Phillip Schofield commit any illegal act? There's no evidence that he did. Did he abuse his position by getting someone a job or helping to get someone a job they wouldn't otherwise have got? Possibly. Is that a heinous crime? I'm not so sure. It happens a lot in TV, as you well know.
Yes.
People say, I know X, can you give him a job as a runner or something? Yeah. It's not that important. What's perhaps more important is what started as a tabloid media story has now developed into a serious economic and business story whereby a major broadcaster is being undermined. Holly Willoughby did nothing wrong as far as I can see.
No, the people are gunning for her as well. I can't see how, if she knew the ITV executives knew, and then and didn't do anything about it. I'm not quite sure what she's supposed to do at that point.
Exactly.
But the executives, Kevin Ligo, Carolyn McCall, Martin Frizzell, do you think any of those will end up out of a job by the end of the week?
I wouldn't put money on them keeping all of them keeping their jobs, if not by the end of the week, but certainly in the course of June. Because if the share price plummets, the advertisers leave, the sponsors leave, they're going to be pointing fingers. So this, I don't think it will end that well.
No, indeed. Ian Bloom, media law consultant, thank you very much, indeed. Really good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.